Fall Patch, the update that could potentially fix all the issues that the base game of Battlefield 4 is currently experiencing. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what this video is going to be about. So, let's kick it off with some very brief patch notes that were released a few days ago. Now, as for game mode improvements, Rush on all vanilla maps except Dawnbreaker has gotten tweaked a fair bit. Obliteration, Capture the Flag, and Carrier Assault have gotten tweaked as well. Those, in addition to the Obliteration competitive game mode, have gotten some pretty severe changes. Now, in the blog post on Battlefield's official site, it doesn't go into much detail, but I thought I would go ahead and do a quick overview of what we might expect when this patch arrives. Now, moving on to the sight improvements, visual recoil is no longer a thing in Battlefield 4. If you've played CTE, you will have noticed that your sight on the weapon doesn't bob up and down whenever you fire now. It's honestly one of my favorite changes to come thus far, and if you haven't gotten the chance to play without visual recoil, you're going to see a vast improvement in your performance in-game. And then finally, there is improved visibility for the red glowing reticle whenever you were to aim at something very bright, i.e. a fire or some lights or something like that. As for player movement, the Battlefield 3 veterans are going to be very excited about these changes. The movement is now almost identical to Battlefield 3, but it has Battlefield 4 animations still. So no more wonky stumbles or sluggish movement in Battlefield 4. Again, this was another change I highly favored. And then the third-person hit reactions have been reduced a little bit, making head glitching a bit harder to pull off without getting hit. So it will reduce the frustration of getting killed by head glitchers because the flinch has been drastically reduced. Now, in the base game, currently, the flinch amount sometimes ducks a player's head perfectly behind cover, yet they can still shoot at you, so that has been fixed. Ah yes, the declutter of the horrendous Battlefield 4 HUD. That is also coming with this new patch. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically DICE has added a numerous amount of options to change the opacity of certain elements in the options menu. Now, for instance, say you don't like the blue Dorito showing up at 100% opacity, simply lower it to like 50 or something. And the good thing about these extra options is the ability to lower it even more when you're aiming down sight, which definitely comes in handy. Now, I cannot tell you guys how many times I've gotten killed because I mistook the enemy for a friendly player. Now, if you're preparing for the fall patch and you're looking for a good tutorial on some of the best settings to declutter the HUD, I'll redirect you to my good friend Westy's video on that. He goes over all the settings in one single video so you know what to change and what is recommended not to change. As for the reviving mechanic, there is a new UI element that tells you if it's worth it to go ahead and revive somebody. Now, I will throw up an image on your screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Basically, it's a countdown until that person cannot be revived anymore. They're basically dead. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have run into certain situations where you go to revive somebody and the icon disappears just as you're about to patty cake them. So again, that is now fixed, and you will be able to make your own judgment on whether or not you can get to them in time. And in addition to that, there is a new sound that plays when you charged your paddles fully to 100%. So, lots of new and innovative changes that will hopefully make Battlefield 4 a much better game to play. As for Netcode, there are 4 major changes coming. First off, the setting for how much time difference is allowed when damaging other players is now lowered. This only addresses high ping players and will result in less trade kills and behind cover kills. Now, the next thing about the netcode would be the high frequency update setting is now set to auto as the default for all users. This is a very good change because some people still don't even know about the 30 Hz tick rate tweak that you can manually do on your own. Now, this tweak vastly improved the netcode and hit regs for me, so I'm glad it is now auto for all users by default. And they are also adding high frequency support to last generation consoles, and finally there are additional improvements to bullet damage delays between clients compared to the netcode patch. So again, very important and game changing stuff coming within the fall patch. Now, there are some minor weapon and weapon attachment changes, but I won't address them in this video, for the sake of time obviously. Now, if you do want to read up on anything I discussed in this video, however, make sure to check the description for a link to the article. But anyways, moving on to some important things, such as the team play initiative. Now, this will not be coming within the fall patch, but rather in upcoming CTE patches, and then it will eventually come into the retail game. Now, as for the final stand release patch, DICE is going to try and get these things situated and ready. The gameplay objective scoring rebalance. This will make playing the objective a bit more rewarding. Now there are not any details on this yet, but I'm fairly certain there is going to be some type of bonus for playing the objective. Maybe some extra points here and there, potentially even some unique dog tags or something like that. Health and ammo pack rebalance. Now as for this, I'm almost positive that they are going to change up the cooldown time of when you can throw another one out. I'd really like to see ammo and health packs not resupply your own player. That will really make you depend on your teammates because let's be honest, how many of you guys actually run assault just to heal yourself? I know I'm pretty guilty of doing that myself. A fix for neutral and friendly roadkills and getting killed by your own vehicle is coming as well. Now getting killed by your own helicopter after jumping out of it in BF4 is very frustrating, so I'm glad this is finally getting fixed. I just wish it would have come within the fall patch instead because the sooner it comes, the better. And finally, the last thing coming with the Team Play initiative would be a tweak to footstep or footprint sounds and random callout improvements. So, for instance, say that your teammate was nearby and he just got killed. Your soldier will do a random callout and the enemy can hear these, so they will obviously know that you're there now. So I think they'll make it only available to hear your own teammates. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing I could think of. I mean, it's such an unfair part of the game to just have your position called out like that. So hopefully that is how it will be changed. Now that is just about everything coming within the fall patch. There's still not an ETA on when it will arrive, but a DICE dev by the name of David Serland, or Tigger as most of you guys know him as, said that it will be for sure coming at the end of this month. Now we are approaching that time period, so if I had to make a guess as to when it will arrive, I'd probably place my bet on the 23rd, which is tomorrow, or the 30th. Both are Tuesdays and patches and DLC usually come out on Tuesdays. Now if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could drop a like. That way it reaches a much broader audience and more people can see this information. Now if you do want to stay up to date on anything related to Battlefield 4, then make sure to subscribe to this channel for more news and information. And finally, make sure to let me know what features you're looking forward to seeing in this patch down in the comments section. But as always, this has been Zainov, and I'll see you in the next one.